Okay, good evening, and this is Out of Our League. Back again with Raspberry, Zombie Grub, Hayes, MH, and this week we have X-Max joining us. Tonight we will be chatting about Heart of the Swarm updates and ideas and what's been going on with that, and possibly a little bit about 1v1s versus team games and how they've been working on, or flowing into MLG to an extent, and possibly a random ass topic by the end of it. So, without further ado, here we go into Out of Our League.
Alright, what's up guys? So first off we do
Howdy.
have Heart of the Swarm, which I will be getting up on screen for you to see the patches in case you didn't see it, because they did come out with new patches to the original released stuff. And
Is it the link that I sent with the StarCraft with the S2 armory?
I didn't save it. No.
Or are you using something else?
No, I'm using the Blizzard announcement.
Oh, the Blizzard. Oh, well, it's pretty much the same thing because it's all typed out in blog
Yeah.
form. Anyway, so Terran has kind of announced some more game changers as of yet. With the Shredder removed, the Warhound is under heavy construction. Experimenting with anti-air on a new Thor, anti-air Spider-Man is considerable new ability, and experimenting with TPT long-range missile attacks versus siege tanks. Now, for a long time, siege tanks have technically been their first line of defense against any and all races, and pretty much turning it into a great big chess battle every time they use a line of tanks and such. So, how do you guys feel about Terran so far, and how the changes are really going to affect it?
Well, first of all, I got it up on screen, but it's actually not bullet pointed, so if any of you who don't know, the exact changes were the Shredder is being taken out, they're changing the Warhound to something, I don't know, and yeah, they're experimenting with just keeping the Thor and changing it to have anti-air spider mines.
Which is awkward in itself. Yeah, I mean, that's just a really weird choice, because originally spider mines were on the vultures, which were taken out when we came into StarCraft 2.
Right.
From the update from the original.
Yeah, and these are going to be anti-air missile spider mines.
So, are they taking, like, Raven abilities and just moving them around then?
Well, it's not really a Raven ability.
Well, like the one turret thing that you can use in order to negotiate attacks and such.
The auto turret?
No, the other one.
The PDF? PDD, sorry. Yeah. Raven's attack with PDF, long-boring documents.
Yes, that's the one text format that no one can beat.
But there's also the missile, whatever. But
yeah, the secret missile, but I'm talking about, like, the middle thing.
The PDD, the one that, like, takes away long-range units' attack.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna look like that, and then it's just gonna, like, race after Mutalisk or whatever, if Mutalisk come too close to it, and explode.
But that would just make it go from landmine to air mine, and
yeah, exactly.
Like land to. That is my head hurts now from thinking about that.
It seems stupid.
That's just. Yeah, I mean, that's really dumb. And of course, we'll get like 1 week into the beta, and everyone's be like, "Oh my gosh, this is OP. We gotta take it out of it." And of course, Blizzard would be like, "Fine, it's OP. We'll take it out of it."
Well, what do Vicky and Mary think?
For that one specifically, or for the Terran changes?
Well,
the
that one
Terran
specifically
changes overall.
Then overall.
I have just noticed my microphone has been muted for the last couple of minutes because
I was
I'm
thinking.
a fucking moron. Anyway, I really like that they're not keeping up the shredder.
Yes.
However,
Yeah, I wanted to play with the Shredder though.
I don't want to play against it though.
People
Well, play
have
with
been.
the
Because
games.
Terran already have siege tanks. Terran already have aerial denial units and such, which are ridiculously effective. I don't see any point in adding the shredder. However, when it comes to the aerial spider mines, I think it's really cool because like spider mines, even though I Terran, I think that'd be a real addition.
Right, you're kind of breaking up there, but pretty much you say
Oh,
you like
crap.
the anti-spider mines.
Yes.
Okay. I think the problem is that they say that Terran has problems with going air after going mech, problems against air, specifically Zerg, while going mech against Zerg, and I just don't think that's true.
Yeah, I don't think that's true since they have like what is possibly the best anti-air unit in the game, the Marine.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Well, when they're going mech, they usually don't have Marines, right?
Yeah.
So if they're going
Yeah,
like
but you can-
pure mech, but you can add Marines.
Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah,
You
it's
can
not that
only-
hard to queue
the
up your
thing-
barracks there.
Yeah, Marines are basically free, so
Just
Well-
like with Thors, you can just have constant repair on them, you know?
Yeah,
So they're good against air.
And the thing with mech builds is that you don't just go one Thor. That's what you do when you're going Marine, bio and tank, and then there's mass
Yeah.
realist. But with mech, you're turtling for a while to get a lot of Thors to have a really big Doomsday army, and then you push out. The problem would be that you don't have anything at home, but people leave like one Thor at each base. Like that's entirely possible. People have done that and then just built turrets, and Mutalisk can't do
Yeah.
anything. In the recent GSL,
Mhm.
when Marine King, or not Marine King, MVP almost died to July, sort of, there was like 1 billion missile turrets because July just wouldn't get off of Mutalisk. There's 5 missile turrets around his base. Like, it was a total turtle. And it was like, no problem, July, I got this.
Always, as always. And it's just, all Terran, that's the same style that they have been doing forever. It's just to hurl up and make something big. Like, for a while, or a long time, it was the battle cruisers in StarCraft, and the normal one. Well, the original one.
Against
And
who?
then here comes the Thor, but as soon as they go, like, super mech, you have to play them like you're playing Protoss at that point. And what we have been seeing recently is a backlash against mech again, and going back into bio with Marines, simply Marine tanks, and just pushing with Marauders, and occasionally get Vikings to solve that problem. And so, I think I don't know. I don't like the battle cruiser so much, even though that's coming back into play again versus TVT. So, the battle cruiser I consider is still not really that great / underused as much as the carrier is.
Well,
And it's just there to be janky.
that's a whole other thing. I don't even know how we got
Oh,
on
I know.
battle
It's almost like a BM unit.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like, oh, I'm winning, so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna build battle cruiser. It's like
Yeah.
a BM unit.
But nothing about, like, that's not even in the patch notes at all.
Oh, I know.
But one of the other things that is in the notes is that they're experimenting with extremely long-range Terran missile launchers that can be used with mech versus mech and Terran versus Terran. And people are like, oh man, a long-range Terran missile launcher? What? Oh, yeah, I think we already have one of those.
isn't that new?
I think that maybe called a
I don't know.
nuke.
I don't know what those things
Well-
called nukes are. I'm not sure. I mean, don't they come with ghosts and they have to use them?
Well,
I mean,
Well, yeah, but if they make it easier to use than that, then what's the point in going nuke?
Well, I think like they're just focusing so much on TVT that they forget that they're going to be using this stuff against other people, like
is true.
Zerg, who will
Like-
just explode with
Well,
that stuff.
They have
But
2
remem-
additions to their game that are specifically for TVT, the Warhound and this extremely long-range Terran missile launcher, if they do decide to add it. Which is kind of weird because TVT
Yeah.
evolved and there's different ways to do it. It's not very stagnant. I don't see why they feel like they have a need
I
to
feel
fix it.
I feel like TVT is the most versatile type of
Yeah, because Terran's versatile.
same race pairing.
Yeah.
It's like you know exactly what's going to happen PvP and ZVC, or else you lose. But then TVT, it's like, is he going to do this or this, or you know?
I
it's a
agree.
giant chess battle, like I
Yeah.
said.
I don't see why they feel the need to fix it, because now the Warhound was also to like make up for how big and clunky the Thor was, but since people have been using Thors correctly a lot of times lately, they've backed off on that stance in the Warhound, and now it's mostly for the anti-mech, because they're not
yeah.
anti-Muta, they're Goliaths,
Do
which suck
you think
against
they're gonna?
their...
Do you think they're going to keep Thors then, as they are?
I think they are.
Probably.
And
because
same
they
with the
want
to
mothership
create-
too.
They wanted to change them more like the Odin. Oh yeah, I will put money on them keeping the carrier in, but then that's getting onto Protoss.
Yeah, and that's coming up next. So, but we can just go into it now. I feel like we've talked about Terran.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
have we just lost Emily?
Did we?
Yes, and now
Oh,
we're moving on to, well, and then they made some announcements for Protoss, which is the
Yes.
Oracle harass abilities have been greatly improved. I'm not quite sure what that means. Replicant removed.
Basically, I think what they mean for the Oracle is that people are actually using it for its
Yeah.
purposes, whereas like
Oh,
the
yeah.
other stuff,
Yes. And
the other
Yeah.
stuff, they were like, oh, use it for this, and then people were like the shredder in the mineral line, you know? Of course,
Yeah.
people are gonna try and do that. That's like instant death of 30 probes or something, you know?
what was Blizzard expecting with that? To be honest, they're like, oh, no one's gonna be that BM. No one's gonna use a shredder in a mineral line. Okay,
Yeah,
that's just
and then
mean.
here they go hit and rushing kind of stuff. Of course.
Oh god.
Well, the Tempest is no longer... What's AoE
Well,
damage
I
mean?
think
area of effect.
area effect.
Oh, okay.
I think one of the more interesting things is that they've taken out the replicant.
I can see why they wanted it to add variety, but a lot of people were saying that it just reduced it, including Blizzard now.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
your opponent just didn't make certain units that they know would be good against them themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And they were really expensive units, right?
Yeah, they
Well,
were,
like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They were like so. Would it be worth it to take control of that unit,
a lot of people were saying
paying
no.
that price?
People
If
say
you're-
you can get like the problem is like what are they gonna take over? Like a one siege tank? Oh no!
Like that's the
Run
thing.
away!
Like it's like 3
An
times the amount of a
SCV?
siege tank.
Yeah,
I think it was
I thought
200 or something. I could be wrong.
I thought the entire point of them was to copy SCVs and then go Terran.
Or
Or Zerg, or grab a drone and make a hatchery.
That's funny.
That
you
would
know,
be
I was
hilarious.
talking about this, and like they could do like if you got SCVs, made a command center, you would have mules and repair on your units for like Protoss. You could like be repairing your zealots as you
Oh
run
my
in, right?
God.
That deserves an
That's
arcane
that
not
would-
shock.
you can't repair
reaction
zealots.
to-
You could repair
And then-
stalkers.
Yeah,
Oh,
one of
stalk-
or it was either zealots or stalkers.
Stalkers.
But
You can press stalkers where there is.
Oh my god, zealots and
Then-
medevacs.
Yeah.
Like then people would scream OP because a specialty that a race has is now with someone else.
Well, you remember in the original StarCraft, the
There's a
Dark
Dark Archon.
Archons,
Let
the
me tell
Dark
you.
Archon had that ability.
Let me tell you
Yeah,
what I did
yeah.
in Brood War.
Loved
I played
it.
an island map. I played
Yeah.
the 2 island map, and I got a Dark Archon, and I took an SCV, and I just built the other race. I was like
Exactly.
12, and I was awesome.
I love building the other races, man. I try to get all 3 just to do it.
Yeah,
Also, well, Neural,
that was a good one.
the Neural thing on the
Infestor.
Infestor, you can grab a unit and
Yeah.
like an SCV or a probe and do that exact
But
same
you
thing.
can't.
It only really works with probes
Yeah.
because you can't keep control of the SCV long enough.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's
and
But it
and
does
that's like
go
her
Colossus.
thing.
but
I mean, but I don't understand why some people have tried it. Some people have. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about like this ability be coming back and being reused again.
well, it's not.
Because-
so
Well, if you remember,
how do you feel about it not being
Protoss
used?
have so many buildings in the original StarCraft, and some of them were just pretty useless, like the battery or whatever.
What?
That
Shield
retard-
battery. Yeah, that,
Yeah.
that used to get used.
No, it didn't,
Not often.
and it still hasn't.
It was kind of like the sensor tower. You know,
Yeah.
some smarter people will use it.
Yeah,
You know,
that's how
very
it's used.
situationally, but
Yeah.
not a lot.
Well, I mean, like the shields heals themselves anyway, so it just. I don't know. I never saw the point for it.
It was for I don't. Well, anyways, besides Brood War, the point is that they're taking it out. They realized that like either no one was going to use it or it's just going to be like, well, that was fantastic. They stole an SCV. Thank you. They pay 200
Yeah,
for an SUV.
the ultimate hilarity to ensue. Or,
Well,
I mean, you probably couldn't be able to build that at the beginning of the game either.
you can't.
In order
It's,
to grab
Yeah,
that,
a
it'll be
robo.
robotic.
in
It's
order to
robotic
grab that,
specificity.
well, in order to grab that, like, scouter, you know, that scouting worker, and just be like, haha, it's mine.
That's the worst idea I've ever heard. Rush the replicant to make sure the scout doesn't get off. Alright, anyways. The problem also was that it was a
the thing
robo,
is,
and
no,
it...
no,
Yeah.
you don't, with replicant, you don't take their unit, you
Yeah,
copy it.
that's true,
So-
too.
So long as it's somewhere on the map that you can see,
So you
there's no
could-
range on it, it will copy it.
Here's
That was the idea.
Here's the idea. You replicate the scouting SCV, and you fight the scouting SCV with your new SCV.
Nice.
Brilliant.
Copy that when there's only 2 left and you're just chasing each other, whoever kills it. Base racing.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
that's the legit.
right
You
there.
could just change base races, because Protoss could build flying
Yeah.
command centers.
Free-
No more free base trade for
For
Karen.
I know.
Anyways, but I think we talked about the replicant enough. The point is that they're taking it out because all of this might have come to mind to them eventually. But
Yeah.
next up is I think the
The
Oracle.
Tempest.
Everyone agrees that it's pretty okay, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a fun
That's-
one. It's a fun raider. So they got their, I guess, Reaper.
It's nice to see some harass units for
Yeah.
Protoss.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
rather than
are they
just
taking
warping
out the warp
themselves.
prism or not? That's a fun question.
Why would they take out the warp prism?
Well,
That's another thing in which it was discussed, in which it was been underused until they started using it, and they're like, well, we'll just leave it in now
Well,
because
Oh.
it's being
people are using it.
underused because it's underpowered.
No, that's what it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then they buffed it, but
Yeah.
There's no way you could take every race has a way to lift something up except Protoss. No way. They'd have to
that
put
would
something.
be really mean.
Well,
Yeah.
they are talking about putting mass recall on Nexus, which
Next-
I think
Yeah,
is a really
That's
good
later.
idea.
That's later.
Well,
We're going
might
in
as well
order.
just take all
Okay,
the
going in order.
The next step is the Tempest. They
Tempest.
They
Okay.
finally they say, okay, the Phoenix are finally being used. Splash anti-air is not necessary. So what do? They change it into a Colossus for ground from the air. They change it into a Brewlord who can also hit air. Tempest is currently a very long-ranged aerial siege weapon that can strike both air and ground targets. Uh-oh. Emergency. There's a problem with the call. Considering that you can only hear me now, I guess I'll be talking. So if you didn't hear that, they gave another Colossus that's even better than the first one. And according to them, this gives the Protoss army some real reach to force an engagement on their terms in the endgame. Oh my god, they don't have that? Anyways. So, while we get that sorted out, let me just... I'll call the group then. Hello?
Yes. What happened?
Whoever hosted the call bugged out.
Oh, Mary.
So I've been talking, filling the airtime, as it were.
Yes.
But,
Oh, yeah, it was Mary.
she'll come back, hopefully, soon.
Oh, yeah, X-Mac kind of shortly left us. Hopefully she'll be right back. There she is. All right,
There we go.
we're back on. Derp derp. All right. We were talking about
The Tempest.
the Tempest
It's-
and how awesome. Well, actually, how weirdly adapting it has become into the carrier. Or exactly.
yeah.
What? No.
Yes.
The currently very long-ranged aerial siege weapon that can strike both air and ground targets.
Like the carrier.
That sounds more like...
like
Alright,
the
alright.
Valkyrie from.
I'll give you the carrier, even though it's I think it's still AoE too, so it's like a Colossus. It's...
Well,
Is it
Colossus
AoE,
has
but what is
splash
splash-
damage though.
What?
AoE is like okay.
That's splash damage.
Can you hear me okay, by the way?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Okay, sorry, my housemate just went and disconnected my internet, so I've switched onto my phone, which I get unlimited mobile internet on, so
Lucky you. Anyway.
yeah.
I think
Sorry,
that's pretty
let's
cool.
Carry on.
Yeah, that is really.
Comparing it to the carrier, because it's not gonna be like... I really wish it confirmed whether or not it was splash. I'm pretty sure it's still splash though.
It says
says
no longer
aerial
splash
siege.
damage.
Yeah, it says no longer splash, but it's aerial siege.
Yeah,
So
long
this
range
means tanky so that it can take hits.
like the carrier.
Oh, I guess you're reading something that I'm not.
Well, if you look at it, it says, like,
We no
Look
longer
at the
feel
bo-
like a splash anti-air weapon is necessary, but they don't say.
look at the fourth line. Ranged aerial siege weapon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that
when they're
sounds-
saying
that sounds
siege, what do they
aerial
mean by siege then?
They could mean like a siege tank where it says splash.
Or
Yeah.
Thor in the air shooting lasers.
Yeah,
Does
so
that mean like it's splash air, not ground, like,
go to the Google.
or not splash at all?
We have to Google this to make sure that we're talking this correctly. Really?
Well,
Um,
originally didn't have quite a weak ground air to ground attack, a sort of single target ground to air attack like the mothership.
Well, the only thing that Protoss really has against air is the Void Ray, the Phoenix, or the Stalker, and that's about it. So
Congratulations.
those are pretty like 2-tier and tier 1 units. So if you pull out your Colossus, it'll probably get hit by this thing, by the Tempest, because it's considered massive, so therefore air turrets and all kinds of stuff can just hit it and just be okay.
What?
You know, like if you walk a Colossus nearby the Terran's turrets, missile turrets,
Sure.
it'll automatically shoot them.
Right, if they do that, which would be kind of dumb too.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, so therefore it's considered massive / kind of air unit anyway, so therefore it could be taken out
Right,
easily
so
by
it's
the
probably so small.
Tempest.
Not because it's massive.
Yeah, we don't know if it's massive.
What?
But massive is an actual thing.
The Colossus?
Massive is-
No,
it's
the
considered
Tempest.
massive because it breaks. Oh,
The Tempest.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
No,
Air
I'm saying the
can't
Colossus
be
is massive and can get hit, and can get hit by like anti-air stuff. So
Right.
Massive does
Tempest
not mean
would
it can
be
get hit by
another
a different
Well,
thing.
well, no, the Tempest would hit the Colossus because
Yes, but that
because-
has nothing to do with the fact that it's massive or not.
I said that the Colossus was massive.
Why?
Yes, you
But we're
did.
asking why. Why does that have to do with anything?
Because it's another thing to take out Colossus.
But-
and it gives it another option too.
But why is massive count? Why does it matter if it's massive?
it attacks air
It
and
doesn't.
ground. So
Because if it would have just attacked ground, then that would still be a problem. I don't know. I don't know
It
what I was going with that.
I don't know either, but good for admitting it.
Sorry.
You could have just kept on going in circles.
Probably could have.
Well, do you guys like it? Do you think they really need another?
Carrier?
And I'm
No.
pretty sure I'm pretty sure it's splash because I've heard it could just be
It would-
people
it's
QQing
splash
without
against
any
air.
knowledge. But
yeah,
I
I'm
don't
gonna
think
wait
splash
for them
damage.
to. I'm gonna wait for them to like actually figure out because I think they're still confused with it.
yeah,
So it's gonna change
Yeah.
again. So you might as well just wait.
that's definitely true. If it is another splash damage from both air and ground, granted probably not as powerful as it was to just specifically be an anti-muta, but if it has any splash at all, I'm just gonna be like, why the hell does Protoss need another A-move splash siege unit?
AKA
Well-
Void. Oh, well, what about Void Rays too?
What about
Because-
Void Rays?
What about Void Rays and Phoenixes though?
About-
Because that would take out the mutas, so therefore it would just make Tempest not really a viable option.
I don't think you're getting this.
Probably not.
The point is that they think that they know the Tempest is no longer needed for that. They know that Phoenix, and I guess Void Rays sort of, but mostly Phoenix, can take out mutas now. That's why they're like, it's no longer specifically anti-air splash.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can hear, I can even, yeah, I can just constantly, constant noise.
I don't know what's going on.
Neither
but
do
I'm kinda-
I. I guess we'll just keep talking.
Exactly. Keep going.
Alright, so anyways, yeah, so if it's, yeah, I pretty much ended my point. Just fact is,
Pretty much.
it's no longer specifically anti-muta ball.
You might as well just keep the carrier if you're going to keep something like the carrier in there.
The carrier, I mean,
Carrier needs a lot of work though, and they're lazy.
And they haven't worked on it in ever, so
They're not gonna work
what's
on
the
it.
point
They
of
don't
keeping
want
it?
they don't want to. I mean, like, I'm pretty. As much as I love StarCraft 2, I think Brood War players have at least something right in that a lot of our units are very situational and very hard counter-ish.
Oh
So
yeah.
they don't, if carry's not being used at all, they're just going to be like, well, whatever. You know, if someone finds a way out to use it,
Yeah, but you've got to
go
remember
ahead.
Brood War was a 10-year-old game.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah,
that
it's
too.
not like
They could actually find a way to use the carrier, unless they take it out, of course.
Yeah.
But they refuse to do that, therefore the developers have given up on it, and most people have, except for bronze people who find it.
There's people who are fighting for it just for the nostalgia and the fact that, I mean, like, there are
Oh, no,
Protoss
they're
in
fine.
GSL who are trying to do it. It's just
Yeah,
I
so
wonder if
hard.
they're trying to do it. I wonder if they're trying to do it so that people try and keep it in.
I know, right?
Because really, there's like no point in having them.
What,
To
do you
me,
think
it
what-
really
do you think
doesn't
it's not
help.
an evolution of the meta game?
It could be, and you'll never know if it's gone. So I'm
Yeah.
wondering if they're trying to
Well-
bring it in, so they're like, don't take it away, because that was one of my favorite characters. In
I bet the carrier will stay in because it's one of those things that's too iconic to lose.
Yeah, I feel like it will
is,
too.
yeah, it is like the
Because-
I just don't see why they don't just, you know, rather than putting in the Tempest now that they know they no longer need a specific anti-muta weapon,
Might as
why
well
not just
just
be
upgrade
like,
the carrier and go on with their life.
instead of doing a Tempest thing, we're gonna do a carrier thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
we're
well,
just gonna remodel it. That's what they're doing.
what I've never really understood is if Blizzard says, oh, there is no point for the carrier, there is absolutely no point for the carrier to be in the game because nobody ever uses it. What's the point of taking it out? Just leave it in there for people who really like it. If it's got no practical use
Yeah.
in competitive, it's not going to unbalance anything.
I guess-
Nobody's actually using it.
Mostly because if they do, then, you know, people are still gonna call them lazy or whatever, so there's that. But also because if other people get more units, but then,
Why not Protoss get more units? Yeah.
yeah, you get what I'm saying. Other people are gonna have more units, and then Protoss are gonna QQ about having a useless unit that should be traded out until they
Or,
find a
like,
reason.
supposedly new.
Because, you know, other units are getting traded out.
They'll QQ if you do, and they'll QQ if you don't.
Pretty much. Like, I'm
Well,
indifferent
that's
to the
how everything
carrier
is.
just because I don't use it, and I don't see a problem with it being stuck in there.
You know what? I think it's one of those things that is used. They're focusing so much on 1v1 because in 2v2 and 3v3, it's like if the game's long enough, it's guaranteed. You know?
Well, that's a whole long other argument.
Well,
Even-
believe it or not, that is what they're trying to, like, that's what pros are trying to do in 1v1 is get to that max that looks like a 3v3 game. Where they have, like, 10 plus carriers, and then they can just roll whatever. That's what they're trying to make it viable in 1v1 by doing that. But it's just so hard in 1v1 because no one just stays in macros in their base for 25 minutes. Like 3v3s.
Oh,
It's
but
like
that's
one of those things where it's always being used, just not in competition. That's all.
That is
Yeah.
true, and if no one's using it in 1v1 and people are having a lot of fun with it in 2v2s and 3v3s and 4v4s, that's also a gesture towards the team casuals saying, look, we don't care about we care about 1v1, meh, carrier, meh, but you guys have fun with it, so we'll just leave it for everyone, and if you use it, great, have fun with it. If you don't, you're probably a 1v1 pro, and good for you, because it's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, that's a whole nother argument itself, though, about
Actually,
1v1 versus
they
team
could
games.
they could quite easily balance 2v2 and 1v1 differently
Yes, they could.
if they wanted to.
I don't. Well, you mean like
They
give them
don't
new
want
units
to.
or whatever, or
Yeah.
I don't want them to either. But that is another discussion.
That is another discussion.
Yeah, that's something totally different.
So we're going to the
That's
third
for later.
one, which is the Nexus abilities. So for those of you who
See,
don't know,
The mothership.
no,
and
no, no, no,
putting
no,
it-
no, 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 no. Taking out the mothership and giving the Nexus mass recall. Okay, go.
That'd be hilarious. To the point of extra. We'll see. That contends with 1v1, in which Protoss makes his death ball and it sends it out, and it's just like, oh, I'm getting attacked by DTs or a massive drop from nowhere for a base trade or something else. If their nexus is not destroyed, or if one of them is not, then the question is, how limited is this ability? Because it does all the nexuses will have it, or will all the nexuses have it, or will only one have it at a time, like a master nexus?
Well,
Hmm.
that'll probably change
Yeah.
Yeah.
with development. But if you think of it, like to me, it would be great just because when you base trade with Terran, and then they just lift off and be like a total BMer into the corner,
Yeah.
and you have no air, you have a way to defend yourself now, you know?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
I don't.
And also, it reminds me of the mass teleport ability from Warcraft 3.
Oh, sorry. There was also the Brood War recall.
Well, yeah, the Brood War recall as well too. Sorry.
But
I just,
like,
Well, there is also the mothership recall.
yes,
I mean,
yes.
if
well,
you-
the
it also-
staying.
It's more like because it would be more like the arbiters because whatever because you can get more than
Orbitals?
one.
Yeah.
Not orbitals,
Yeah.
arbiters.
Oh yeah, I know you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah, because you can get more than one now instead of just some other ship being the only
Yeah.
one. And it is.
I think I really like it because it gives more options for mobility to Protoss, but I do think it needs to be quite expensive, so it can't just be chucked about randomly.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like 100 energy on a 200 energy Nexus.
100 energy on a Nexus.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like the reason they did it also was because every main base of the other races has 2+ abilities except for the Nexus. So I think they really want to just give it something else to do since everyone else could do like.
Aren't they
a
gonna?
bunch of stuff.
Doesn't it already have another one for the expansion though? Doesn't it have the cannon thing?
Yeah, I don't even
they-
that
are they
one. I'm so curious about.
Yeah, it's a Nexus
The
Yeah.
ability.
cannon everywhere.
I
the
like
cannon
understand.
They can build a
what's going
cannon
on.
within a field, I think, around their mineral line, specifically to stop like ring rumbais and early pressure.
Wait, so is it building a cannon on top of another building anywhere, or in a
Yeah, I
specific
thought it was on
location?
top of the building.
Because I am so going to cheese people with a, what is it, a simulator in their base,
Yeah.
and then just cannon it.
Yeah, gas steel cannon.
Yes.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Awesome.
Along with 2 new Nexus powers, the building shielding, anti-light unit cannon, generating arc shield ability. Oh my god, that's a lot of shit, actually. They gave Protoss, like, 4 new things, including the Nexus. Or they would have 4 things in total if the mass recall was implemented. Oh, wow. Yeah. Now,
Game
that
changer.
actually really makes a big difference in my mind, because at first I was like, as a Zerg player, if it's just like la-di-da, let me go and try and attack you and then never lose my sentries, which is usually what happens if they fail an attack, and that's why it's so important that they don't, and that's really a way that Zerg can get back. They'll just be like, Blink Stalker with sentries, I'm never going to use my sentries now because I can just recall, and that didn't bode well with me. But if it's like 100 energy, maybe even like 200, like you have to have 2 nexus to even do it, maybe I give them a chance. But now with the fact that they also have 2 other things that I kind of forgot about, I'm like, this is no.
You know what I'm really curious about? Will this finally help stop this 4-gate PvP shenanigans stuff?
The mass recall?
Never. Probably not.
I don't think so.
I want something. Oh my gosh.
Really? You're having a hard
That-
time with 4v4?
No,
4-gate?
4-gate.
I mean 4-gate?
I always
3-gate
win. I always win with 4-gate.
Oh, well.
It's just boring.
What league
You
are
know?
you in?
Well, I was platinum with Protoss, gold with Zerg.
Well, see, the problem is that it's there's a reason that people don't usually go 4-gate, or that 4-gates require a lot of skill to accomplish unless you're on Tawdry Molter. It's because there's a ramp, and if they have a sentry, then you're just like, well, you gotta
Yeah, it's
box.
get that sentry out. But I've seen a lot of ways, like people are getting creative to get around that.
Right, the pylon next to the build, so if anything gets up there, you can warp in on top. Yeah, that happens, but it does require a lot of skill, so... But anyways, enough about 4-gate. I don't think it'll help unless it is the fact that you can do it la-di-da, and it actually
Yeah,
affects
that's
the
what
early
I'm
game.
wondering.
And I don't...
Is it for early game?
I really don't think it's gonna be for early game, because because the other
I mean,
two...
the cannon thing, not just
Oh,
the
well, the
recall.
other
Oh,
two
I
are
think-
pretty early
I think
game.
The cannon thing is for early game.
Yeah, it's for stopping
what
any
I'm
Zerg
thinking.
I
aggression.
think it's for early game defense.
Yeah,
because
specifically against
then-
Zerg.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's their intention is Zerg, but you can think other things too. Like
Dark Templar's like game.
Well, it'll really help with like Korean 4-gates where they're warping in a bunch of stuff in your main.
Mm-hmm.
Like that'll really help because it does a lot of damage to light units. You just put one in your mineral line and you can be okay.
You can even put one, like, when they're sitting at the bottom of your ramp, depending on the range, you could put it on, like, your gateway or pylon, and they'll just be shooting down there, so that their probe that's trying to build pylons or something will just get knocked out.
I really wish we, like, knew more about it, but unfortunately none of us were at, BlizzCon to try it. So, it's unfortunate. We're just really speculating on everything now, but so far, Mass Recall, I'm gonna really have to wait until it comes out in beta to really
We come
hate
to
it.
our third favorite race.
Yeah, the one that actually is like getting what it needs and not getting overpowered, in my opinion. But I am biased.
And the one that doesn't need really changes because it's so boss.
Zerg. No, I think the Swarm host is the best idea in the world.
Yeah, I really like it.
People have been complaining that lurkers aren't around, but Blizzard doesn't want to be Brood War, and Swarm hosts are actually a very Zerg-like, cool idea.
So currently I'll say that they are really, really powerful in the current.
Have you tried them?
Well, I've seen the the
video?
The lair, the custom maps which use the sort of suggested, which use how they're sort of basically being described.
Oh, well, the problem... okay, go on.
Oh, no, that's about it.
Oh, I actually need to try those, but, I think mostly, like, because I like, okay, here's the thing, I'm just gonna say it. Terran and Protoss not used to having Zerg being sieged by Zerg. They're not gonna be used to it, they're gonna be like, what the hell's going on? And with time, they're gonna find out that they're just gonna have to adapt to it. It's just gonna be like a Zerg or a Terran sieging up around a Zerg's army or bases. So
Being total jerks about it and just enclosing Zerg in because
mean,
it's just unrealistic.
when you play Brood War for the first time, lurkers seem OP as shit. It is like, why is Zerg sieging my base? Like, what? This is impossible. But people, the lurker hasn't been changed in years.
Of course not.
So I think it is going to seem really OP at first, and people are just going to be like, Zerg is... I feel like no matter how hard Blizzard's going to try and get away from Brood War, they're just going to go back to it.
You have to go back to the original.
It's going to... Zerg needed these things. Zerg is not... Like, July Zerg, I feel like the reason he doesn't be doing well is because the style doesn't fit him anymore. Zerg is not really strong. It doesn't have siege units. But...
Well, it's the underdog race currently in the entire game.
Well,
and
currently,
even though I applaud a lot of people like Stefano trying to bring it back and make it stronger, it's still not holding its weight against against Protoss during their Deathball siege or even harassment.
Well,
It's not holding against the Marine Deathballs and the tanks sieging up and such. And ZVZ is a nightmare overall because it's really fast and it's really tricky. And unless you can pace yourself correctly, you just screw yourself over. And it's just hard.
I wonder what Swarmos is going to be like in ZVZ. That's a really cool idea.
It's going to be really, really...
Well,
it's going to mess the game for a while, and then it has to even out a bit. But I don't know if Zerg will be able to even out at all.
here's the thing. I don't want to talk a lot about balance, so... Whoever's listening, take what I said in stride too, because I was making some balance comments that I think the game is very balanced. I think if you gave...
It's all
yeah.
It's all personal opinion.
And we're probably wrong. People are going to be like, these people, but we're just giving our opinion without trying to be very balanced-minded. More like, is it cool or not?
Yeah.
I'm more curious, more ideas of what other people have of playing with this unit, like... Instead of saying, oh,
it's going to
are
help
they
or
gonna
not?
change it? Is it going to think more like, hey, you can do this and do this?
Yeah.
Think of that,
Well, it's just like,
Yeah.
God forbid you have a game changer here and help Zerg along.
Well, the problem is that you're very biased. Like, you're more biased than I am. Zerg...
Oh, thanks.
Zerg... You're talking about how Zerg can't fight, battle for battle, but that's because they were designed not to. They're designed to have an awesome economy that can remax and do multiple battles rather than just one big battle. But besides all that, I do think that people have been calling for lurkers. I know a lot of people have, so that's why I say the Swarm Host is a good addition. It's because they have been calling for lurkers for the longest time now, and they are lurker-like. As far as playing it, though, can we all agree that it'd be really fun?
Oh, I'm so excited
Oh, yeah.
for this.
It's gonna make things wicked awesome.
I'm gonna be so happy to like plant my swarm host and just be like, later, bitches, and not pay attention for a while.
Oh yeah.
Because what are they gonna do? Swarming with banelings? I think not. That's why I lose as Terran, because I don't watch my tanks. But
No, I think its Swarm Host could be quite useful for defending your own mineral line and such from drop.
that's true too.
They've got a really long range on them.
That's
how
very
far
true.
the actual swarm things can go.
It's good. It's good.
And
Yeah.
like, what if what if you had them in battles, like around in a circle,
The
kind of
Overseer has
around?
been brought back with
Shh.
better abilities.
Shh. We're still talking about the swarm
And-
host. Go on, Mary.
Overall.
No, it's cool. You go on next one.
Go on, Mary.
Fun. I was just thinking, range-wise, I'm curious to see some Terran scans with it. Like, if you have a battle, and you have them on the outskirts of it, how far, and the Terran's trying to scan them out, how far could it,
Yeah.
where they think it's
I don't-
coming from?
Will they actually be hidden when they burrow though?
I don't know.
What do you mean?
I mean, they burrow. Well, they essentially have to deploy, but I don't think it's burrowing to be hidden.
No, I think it is.
I doubt it, because I know the Lurker did that, but well, at least from the mod, at least from the Heart of the Swarm custom map mod thing, they're not.
That'd be interesting,
Really?
because then you could,
Huh.
because the time frame that they shoot it out is not long, it's not short enough for them to be safe without being invisible, don't you think?
Yeah, that's why the lurker was invisible.
Yeah. But, like, I even feel
Well-
the lurker attacked faster, right?
I think it did. The swarm host does take a really long time to bubble up again from the video, and I kind of take that back about lurkers, because a lot of pushes with lurkers means that you just run in there like a madman and then hope you can burrow fast enough to get the damage off, you know, and they'll have a science whistle right over you, but the damage will be done. So I kind of take that back about the burrow being really important, but the swarm hosts aren't exactly like lurkers. You're right; they don't have a very fast attack.
The
So
thing is, the units
It's more
they're
of-
using have like it's like 120 health or something.
yeah, they're pretty
All of
beefy.
them. Yes, and the amount of time they last, they can run halfway across the map.
I mean, well, that is do a maybe.
Yeah, but they wouldn't do enough damage if they ran that far because their time would be up.
Yeah, maybe
eventually.
we're not looking at it correctly.
Yeah.
Maybe it is just a buffer for the Zerg army in general, not a plant 4 of them around a base and, you know, wait until they get a nice army to defeat it like siege tanks. It's more like I have to bring it with lings in order to
Well,
make
yeah.
it viable.
Well, you can also-
I'm
what-
imagining planting them. I'm imagining planting them under a group of broodlords. So you have a self-replenishing like army of melee units underneath your broodlords.
What if you also are trying to deter, like, making siege tanks attack the broodlings coming out
Right, yeah.
instead of your army? That way you could do, because they have like somewhat of a time frame. People could time that pretty.
That is
you know,
interesting.
yeah.
So, like, it's kind of like, you know, how they shoot infested Terrans to get a fake
Mhm.
siege shot.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Because even though they crawl up, so it can't be directly on the siege. If you have like that disgusting sieged wall, right, and you can never break through it, you know,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the bunker in the front,
Yeah.
then it could maybe get to the bunker enough for the siege to hit the bunker.
Yeah, that's what happened in the video, wasn't it? They had bunkers.
Yeah,
and,
that's what I'm thinking. Some just like a distraction for siege mostly right now until people figure out other things.
That's a good point. And I had another one, but I forgot what I was going to say. I was wondering how beefy the actual swarm host is. Whether it's like an infestor where like one tank shot's going to make it explode, or if it's like
Yeah.
the lurker where it
remember.
takes a few. Because if it takes a few, then you can start a breaking of the siege line with it by burrowing it first and getting a few tanks shots on it, just like the lurker. But if it's not, then it's going to be, lings first and then the swarm hosts, which can still be viable, but you're going to lose a lot of stuff in the process.
I'm thinking they're gonna just hold off on that until they see it in action and then change health-wise if it needs more or not.
Yeah, no.
Because that's kind of you never know until you actually play for a while.
Right, yeah. But that's a good point you made, both of you guys. I always assumed that it was going to be exactly like a lurker, but if it can be seen when it's burrowed, and then it makes it really different.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
alright.
curious.
Well, next up is the Viper. I don't know what they changed about it. Oh, did they add that? I thought that was already in there. Where it can, it's pretty much shit. Defiler.
Was it a queen?
No.
Defiler, that's what it was.
Yeah, Defiler.
I mean, like from Brood War.
Yeah. They have the, it reduces their range, by 1.
Yes.
I thought that was
I'm
already in
so
there. I don't
like-
see what they changed.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think they're just restating.
Here's what they changed, I think,
Mhm.
with new addition is the regain energy by feeding off of minerals.
That's right.
Yeah. Which, instead of, if for those who played Brood War, who didn't play Brood War, oh god, what was it called again?
Defiler.
Defiler could,
You forgot.
yeah, could kill units to get back energy, so, like, you just
Yeah.
kill a ling. So instead of that, they're making you use mineral patches.
Yeah, you can, like, run down to the person's natural, get back your energy, run back up to the main base while you're fighting.
I don't think it's that fast, but it could be.
I mean, like, in a battle, because having it in the main base during a battle wouldn't really work.
What do you
Maybe.
mean?
I don't know, I think it would just be targeted and die too fast, depending on how fast it gets the minerals.
Yeah, I don't know how far away. Well, it already has energy. It's not like it has to be near minerals.
Yeah. I'm just thinking in battle, because it's really, really cool to do that, but you don't want it on your own minerals, so you'd want to do it on, unless you just go to a random
It
pad.
depends how many. Well, I guess it all depends how many it would take. I
Yeah,
can't imagine it
mhm.
will take that many.
I don't think it
Will it?
I don't
does. And it'll regain
me-
energy without feeding on with minerals too, but just be really slow.
I'm trying to think battle-wise, but I guess...
Well, I'm
that's-
confused because
Yeah,
when the battle
sure.
comes, you'll have energy to do what it needs to. It doesn't have to be
Mhm,
near the
but-
mineral line.
But if it has, like, multiple things to do, and if they're actually, like, really good in battle, you'd want it to regain pretty quickly, right?
So yeah, so you'd shoot the dark swarm, whatever it's called now, I don't know. And then you could, I don't
Run
know,
away?
maybe abduct a colossus or two. I don't know how much mana it really has, and then you run away with it. But the dark swarm lasts a while.
Yeah, but Dark Swarm you can move out of it, so you'd probably want multiple in an area just so that you're...
Which would be why you have swarm hosts. So that they can't move forward very easily.
Not even forward. What if they did, like...
Oh, they just go backwards? Then you
Not
just...
even backwards. Think of infestors, how they split, how they do that really fast micro,
Oh, that's right.
splitting them in all orders. Like, then it'll be... You'd need, like, at least 3 in order to cover the space.
It is a little... Yeah, it's different than Brood War, because Brood War, things clump...
Yeah.
Well...
Yeah, but, I mean, if you think Pro, they, like, split that in, like, half a second. Like, their whole army is, like, all over the place, but they can still shoot you.
Well,
you
the
know?
thing is like, even if you take out half or a quarter of the Marines, because it effectively nullifies Terran. Terran's all
Yeah.
long range, right? It does move it by 1 in Brood War. It's reduced to 1, which means they're all melee. But, no matter... It really depends how big it is, but if I imagine that's exactly like the Dark Swarm, then if you take out a fourth of their Marine army, trading lings with it, then that's totally worth it. So, yeah, they can, run away from it or whatnot, but that would have to be just like infested, fungals. You have to counteract their micro with your own micro.
Yeah, I'm thinking it'll be their anti-version of it. It will just be theirs to avoid it.
Yeah, but it's harder, and you won't just have one. You'll have, it'll be an
Yeah.
infestor. But I don't know. We don't know. We don't know enough. I think I like the addition though. I like all the
There's a lot of
additions. I'll just say
conjecture at
that.
the moment.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, it's all still a lot of conjecture, isn't it, really?
Oh, I thought you said, can you inject?
No.
I was like, that's a weird way to say it, but sure. Yeah, so that's the problem, especially with the new updates on this specifically, because they don't have any videos or anything for the new updates.
Yeah.
So, but people have been complaining about the regain energy off of the feeding of minerals, but once again, we don't know how much it takes. It does lock up the mineral patch, though.
I don't understand why people can complain before they even use it, you know?
Oh,
Yeah,
are you kidding?
I don't see what's wrong with that.
People love it.
I mean, you think that
You have to
think
you have
they'll
to
gain
test
more
things out.
energy back from. Will they gain more energy back from gold minerals?
Well, since gold minerals are being effectively taken out, I don't think it matters at this point.
Yeah.
My gold.
And they
I
have-
used to love. I only got gold in 2v2s, but I loved just going straight for gold and rolling them.
Everyone did, especially Taryn.
Just lift off to gold.
But I don't really mind it either. It only locks up one mineral patch. Like, someone's doing the
Yeah,
math out there, but I don't think it's a big deal. Or I guess 4
I
or
don't-
something.
I don't see the problem.
Neither do I. I think people just love to
Get used
complain.
to it is all.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm totally with you, Mary. Like, me and you, we're gonna be like, yeah, it has to be tested. The game's balanced. Metagame will change. Other people, though, oh my god, the Reaper's getting its range reduced. We're all gonna die. Terran's gonna be underpowered. Bunker
know
rushes
what's
won't work
interesting?
anymore. And then no one cared.
About the Reaper, it's like right on top of the units anyways when it fights, and then when something attacks it, it runs away because it's so weak.
Right?
So it's not like a range change is really gonna. I don't think it's gonna change it that much.
Oh, that was the-
just because.
That was the bunker. That was like months ago.
Oh yeah.
Back when bunker rushes with Reapers were really popular. And they changed it.
Fun to watch. Fun to watch.
No, it wasn't.
But not to play. I mean, watch other people suffering with it, but not me.
Oh, I hated it. But I don't even think it was a range change now that I think about it, but it was, they changed a lot. The factory thing, and the barracks timing, and the barracks after supply depot, etc., etc. They changed a lot, man. Anyways, the point is that people QQ'd about everything that they've changed, saying that it'll just severely, change their race, and it never does. People get over it.
Yeah.
Oh god, Hellions won't be as powerful. No one cares. They still use them.
Yeah.
Uh,
When they change blue flame.
Yeah. So, I'm totally with you on that. Anyways,
What about the next one?
Overseer,
Overseer.
deciding to keep it. I like it. I don't see why they got rid of it in the first place.
Yeah, that was
Well,
like.
they were getting rid of it because it doesn't take supply, and units who don't take supply are open to abuse.
But,
I don't think that was
but
it.
Was the Overseer abused? Was it abused?
No. I thought they were taking it out because it wasn't used, and it took. They said that the.
No, it is used. But no, if you watch the BlizzCon address, they were talking about the sort of overlords and overseers. That there was a problem with them because they took no supply. Therefore, you could have an unlimited number of overseers at any point.
Really? When did they say
Wait.
this?
At the BlizzCon address,
When was that?
when they were talking about Hearts and Swarm, they were saying because they don't take supply, they are a problem, and they were changing it.
Well, let me stop Dustin Browder
No,
right
sorry.
there. When have you ever seen them being abused except on someone like Cella's stream where he rained men and then played the song behind it? While he was trolling. Like, when has there ever been mass?
Like I've never seen.
Oh my God.
Because it's been like this since the beginning, and no one's ever abused it. So why?
I mean,
would you
like,
think that?
I'm just thinking back to when Atosus was saying how he thought the changing was never going to be used. He thought that pro gamers would just, like, laugh at it. And
Really?
they still kind of do,
But
but
it's actually hilarious to bombard people with changelings
it
and
is funny sometimes.
stuff. Yeah, I'm back.
Hi.
Sorry.
We hear the static, we
Internet
know.
derp. I'm sorry.
Calm
Stop
yourself.
being mean.
What? Stop being overreacting. Anyways.
All right.
I'm not over
So, yeah,
The
anyways.
overseer-
I can't agree with them on that. The fact that it doesn't take any supply, what is that? I don't get it.
It's just an upgrade. It's just like, to me, the way I view it is it's just an upgrade with the benefit of like seeing invisible.
Well, I can see why because like anything that forms into a cocoon, it costs additional supply.
Mm-hmm.
Always has, except the overseer. So I can see why they'd be like, oh, it doesn't fit with the theme we have going on. But I've never seen it abused. It's not even
But
abused in ZVZ, and that's where it would
How is
be
it?
most useful.
How would the overseer be abused at all? I mean, originally the corruption ability was actually put on the corruptor, and then they put it on the overseer, thinking that it would get more use that way, or
Then they
that
just messed
they
that
thought
name
that
up.
the corruptor abused that ability, and technically it did not.
Well,
And so that was a big change from season 2 to now, and I'm wondering why they took it off the corruptor still.
the corruption ability?
Because overseers are technically considered underused
I don't get
for
what
that
you're
purpose.
saying. You're complaining that they took it off the corruptor?
Yeah.
You'd
They took
really
it- they
complain
took
about
the
that?
Yeah, because if it's on the corruptor, then you had like a lot more choices with it, and that way you
With
can
the
stop-
corruptor?
Yeah, because
Well,
the
we're not talking
corruptor
about
would
the
be in
corruptor,
battle,
though.
As overseer really wouldn't be in battle. To
Emily,
stop
we're not
from-
talking about the corruptor. We're talking about the overseer specifically. So it doesn't matter. It used to be on the corruptor, and that it would be better if it was on the
That's
corruptor.
overseer. When was the last time you really saw an overseer in battle and they actually used that ability on?
Okay, now that's what you should be saying. And I agree with you. Even in DVZ, where it's really effing useful to corrupt all their hatcheries before a timing attack, no one does
But
it.
do you actually use it? You don't. So
Yeah,
I just don't.
I've never seen someone be like, oh man, the 4... There actually is a really good timing where you can get 4 overseers out by the time, before Protoss can finish their warp gate, and you can corrupt it indefinitely. But no one ever does that in pro games.
But no. I mean, no one. It's just like there are some mechanics in the game in which no one has either not explored or they explored it and they just see like it's not a viable option. Just like using the autocast ability to unburrow stuff, like banglings for instance, and how slow they are for that.
Okay. Well, I think we talked enough about that specifically, but the thing they took away, though, by keeping the Overseer was the Viper no longer has the detection thing going
Yeah,
on.
the detection spell. Yeah, I looking at that, I thought that was a bit too powerful.
I thought that could be a lot, like, really abusable, but I also thought it could be really cool.
Well, no, it was very cool. I just think it would allow, like, too much detection, if you know what I mean.
I really don't, because Protoss has observers, and
Yeah.
Terran has scans.
Yeah, I think Terran have too much. I think Terran have too much detection. So if it's anything past the early game, you cannot go cloaked units because they can just detect everything at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, after a while, it just becomes, why bother?
Yeah, they're just the points.
And then recently, like, we see, not Parting, Startail. Was it Parting?
It was probably Startail.
It was Startail Parting who disconnected from Marine King. Or vice versa. Okay, yeah.
And then they had one freaked out about it.
Yeah, recently Startail Parting only built a robo and only... No. He built a robo and only built observers. He had observers everywhere. And it was the greatest thing I've ever seen, and I was like, that's amazing. So that's why I say, like, Protoss and Terran already have their abusable eyes in the sky. So I didn't feel like... I couldn't imagine getting a Viper and then being like, man, this Viper's so cool, I can put detection on stuff. That's not why I would really get a Viper unless there was a DT attack. And
Exactly.
it seemed so...
DTs
Why
are
put it on
becoming
there?
Not viable anymore at this rate, with too much detection and that coming into play. I mean, sure they're ganky at the end of the game, but that's all they're becoming useful for. Is just being ganky at the end of the game to win, and that's it.
Well,
I mean, come on.
Yeah. Anyways, I agree with
Yeah,
that.
come on.
I mean, no one dies to DT rushes unless they're another Protoss. Really anymore, unless you're Idra. Just kidding.
And we get, hey! All the Idris fans are gonna swarm.
I am an Idra fan.
I know, me too.
Oh god. Anyways.
So the Viper has picked up abilities that would be considered part of the Science Vessel originally. You know, with the blind ability, but the consume ability seems
No,
to be
Emily.
kind of
No, Emily. No, Emily.
what?
They got the shit.
What?
No, the name escaped me again. The defiler, defiler. They got the
Yes.
defilers unit. They got the
What?
defiler spell, not the science vessel spells.
Science Vessel had Irradiate and EMP.
Yeah.
Am I
Let me
right?
find the filer spells
Yes, you're right.
and I find it really weird how they can consume minerals to do something, but what? I mean,
Just that
now
they regain
Energy back.
energy.
just to get more energy. So therefore, I'm gonna have 50 of those on a mineral patch and then watch them.
You won't never have 50 vipers.
And then watch as they walk into your base because that's your entire army.
Dark swarm, dark swarm, dark swarm.
I'm gonna try every strategy once.
Oh my god. But
Try it in 2v2. Bam, that's what it's for.
yeah, thank you, Mary.
And you'll survive it, you know?
Yeah.
But then, if the Viper will cost minerals to do that, then what else could be considered to eat minerals from Protoss or Terran, or how they're gonna balance that out?
Well, no, just because one race has something that does something, it doesn't mean all races have to have something that does the exact same thing.
Or
Because
part of
they're
the-
not unique anymore.
Yeah, they're not unique. They're becoming more and more just RTSs of the 1980s. Orcs and humans that are actually exactly alike.
Did the 1980s
Say
have
orcs
RTS?
were more powered than OP.
I don't think so.
Anyway, Nidus worms. How about them Nidus
Ooh,
worms?
yeah.
Yay!
This is so cool.
I know.
I love it.
Like how everywhere.
Just because I think Nidus networks already aren't used enough, I think they're awesome in the late game when Zerg is, banking 4,000 minerals. But now that they're like, hey, we might give you, like, purposeful Nidus worms, I'm like, yeah, homie, what up?
And like they're saying there'll be different types of Nidus worms
Yeah.
that can. So would you
For me,
upgrade them or
awesome
build them?
thing.
I don't know, but
Would
that,
you build? Because you know how you can like you can build a certain unit and be like, do you want to go this way or this way? Upgrade once.
it's like
you
an
know?
Eevee.
So I'm wondering
Oh.
if that's what they're gonna do.
All of a sudden we're getting evolutionary stones and
Whoa,
everything.
yeah, but it's just like a creep colony.
Yeah.
If you want to go back to StarCraft. But, yeah, that's a really interesting question. I'm not sure. I assume so, because I can't imagine having 4 different buildings on
Things
a
in
drone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine that happening.
So then, would some be more powerful than others, and you have to like one you could do immediately, but the other you have to wait until you have more
I'm not sure.
building structures and then
I mean,
upgrade it there?
Here are some of the examples that they're gonna do. A worm that can spew creep across several screens to create a Zerg assault highway, so pretty much giving us a creep highway. A worm
Yay
that can...
for hydras.
Yeah, exactly. A worm that can attack only enemy buildings. Pretty unique. And then, of course, like the regular one, I guess.
But here's the thing, though. The creep highway usually comes into play if you use a lot of queens. So are we going to underpower the queens now with this new ability?
You don't make a creep highway out of queens unless you're me. Most people use creep highways with overlords.
But overlords can just get sniped, though, so that's kind of useless.
Excuse me, creep colonies can also get sniped. The whole much of the point of battles between Zerg is denying their creep spread.
Oh, I know. Or building on their creep and then making it your creep, too.
That's CVZ. What are you talking about? Don't be silly.
I am silly, but it doesn't really matter, does it?
Anyways, I don't think you have to worry about queens being underused.
Well, they need to be more used. Okay.
I think they're pretty useful.
Queens being
Or-
more used.
As in
Queens
massive and go.
Queens are...
But see, like
Yeah,
you
go on
have
there.
to. I don't know.
Very well, so that's kind of the
It's-
sad part about them.
I just don't think
like-
you use queens very well. Now you're just complaining.
Queens,
No,
dang
didn't
it.
I? I'm not mad. That's why I quit Zerg. Oh ho.
Oh, well, now I feel bad. Not really. Anyways.
Okay.
I can't
So,
see how they be.
yeah, that wraps up our topic, or this particular topic. Do you guys want to do a short recap on Scarlet being epic and how she just recently got added to a new team?
On a clip show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm underwhelmed by the fact that she was picked up by a second-rate European team.
I'm kind of sad about that too.
Especially since she was talking about Quantic talking to her. I was like,
Exactly, and
Well,
and so
she
it makes me
wasn't,
wonder,
she
like,
wasn't going to be
happened.
picked up by a major team, was she?
she was talking to Quantic.
Yeah, Quantic Gaming. Like, that's like a
Mhm.
first-rate team, and then all of a sudden she gets picked up like a second-rate team, and it's just like, what happened?
I'm a little confused. I mean, I can pull up the news right here.
Well,
I mean,
I have it right here too, and I'm
I'm
confused as well as to why.
I'm
She
assuming
would
it was.
choose
Assuming it was
to-
an exaggeration, the Quantic thing. Then
I don't.
either
What,
that,
you
or
think
either
they were
that, or she was
children?
off. Either that, or she was offered more money.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They just give her a better deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't.
Yeah, I hope she can hold on to it and maybe use it to leapfrog into another team or something. I don't know. I'm kind of mixed.
I mean,
emotions about
it's the beginning. There's so many people who have like, oh, we got better with whatever and hop to another team. That's like common
I-
almost.
Well, yeah, like the Huck controversy, the Dragon controversy. The controversies can just go on and on and on
So
about
I,
that.
so I don't think it would be an issue. She goes to a lower team that gave her more for the moment, and then someone else will give her more
Later
for that
on.
moment, and she'll.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately,
that
it's not going to be like a. Like
And-
I wish it was before. Hmm.
I just hope that it's not going to be a step back in her be able to perform and do out there and do tournaments and.
But why
so-
would it? Unless the only reason it would be a step back was if they were not sending her places, and I'm pretty sure, since she's so big right now, they'd want her everywhere.
It's already.
I hope.
I actually pulled up the interview that they had with her.
Yeah.
So she says they actually asked her why you chose the team. And she
yeah.
said, I talked to several teams. I chose this team because I like the direction the team is heading up and felt very comfortable talking to the managers. So she just felt comfortable there. Maybe she didn't like Naniwa.
No one likes him because he's gotten fat anyway. Like, have you seen his pictures? Like, he's just gotten
Whoa,
chubby.
whoa,
and-
whoa!
Wait, are you saying he got bad? You mean bad looking?
No, fat. As in, like, he got
Oh,
chubby.
fat.
Yeah, like,
I mean,
he turned into, like, a
the-
chubby
what
What
bunny
is
for
wrong
about-
with you?
Who cares about that? Because weight comes and goes. Like,
And
it's so easy
he's
to get
always
there.
been that
Who cares about
chubby.
that?
I don't even consider him like chubby. I don't consider him fit.
It's
But
just
chubby's
funny.
kind of.
That's the one thing
He looks like a
that makes-
baby. I think that's part of
I
his
know.
thing.
See, that's what charms me, him. Because he's just so human in that respect. You know, like, weight comes and goes, and yet his skill kind of, like, stays the same.
That's what are you talking about? we have a
Anyways,
discussion
going
about whether or
back
not
to-
weight affects your
going
play.
back to Scarlet.
Yes. Going back to Scarlet.
I
She
think
also said.
if if she said that it's because she was more comfortable with the like manager, I actually
Yeah.
like that because then it's not. I feel like sports now are whoever hands me the most money, whatever, go to it.
Yeah.
But if she's actually gonna have a relationship with the team and want to
Yeah.
be with the team because she likes them too, you will perform better with that.
I'm thinking maybe Quantic wasn't all like.
Serious
Quantic has a
about-
lot of other good players, so all the attention wouldn't go to her. So she might have felt like if she didn't perform well for Quantic specifically or another big team, that they'd like immediately ditch her. Like, we
Oh,
don't
yeah.
need you. Eclipse, or have you pronounced their name? Not so much. She's gonna be
They're butting
a
at
business
that,
asset for a while for them.
Yeah, they're butting at that, so.
Or maybe they're just really nice, and I'm just making them come out like business jerks. I don't know.
They're probably really nice, and we might probably are. You want to switch gears to Diablo 3 and how the beta is finally coming out, and everyone's all excited about it?
That wasn't
Yeah.
my plan.
Yes, it was.
Wasn't it?
No, we don't have to. I mean, we really don't have to talk about more, do we?
Yeah. I
You don't
think
have
that-
to if you
I
don't
think
wanna.
that's quite
Fine,
fine.
Because I know it's like what? It's like 5 in the morning for Vicky, and I haven't
I
eaten
know, it's
dinner.
5 in the morning, and I'm sorry, I just want to keep on talking about cool stuff. Alright, so this pretty much wraps up our second, or wait, just another episode of Out of Our League.
Pilot.
Thank you
It's our
for
second pilot.
our second pilot, so thank you for listening, and stay classy.
See ya.